So this is no time for a full analysis of Shakespeare's style. However, his soliloquies are found throughout almost all of his plays. They offer a look into the minds of his greatest characters. So let's look at the soliloquies of Hamlet. These are the gateways into Hamlet's very nature. The plot of the play deals with Hamlet's inability to act upon his father's murder. Hamlet is all too aware of his inaction. If inaction is his hamartia, then there must be a reason for it. So I'm going to read Hamlet's words in the original, and then I'm going to show a rough modern translation next to it. So as I read it, you're able to follow along in the actual real modern day English to kind of get a sense of what's being said. Act 3, Scene 1. Scene: no one knows the origin of Hamlet's madness. The king and Polonius hide behind a curtain as Hamlet approaches alone, while Hamlet contemplates suicide. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them. To die, to sleep, no more. And by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream, aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come, when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scores of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy take, when he himself might be quietus make with bare bodkin? Who would fardels bear, to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveller returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all, and thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er the pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pitch and moment with disregard their currents turn awry and lose the name of action. Act 3, Scene 3. Scene: certain at last of his uncle's guilt, and finding the king vulnerable and unprotected, Hamlet prepares to avenge his father's murder as Claudius prays for absolution. He enters the chapel with his sword raised to strike. Now might I do it, pat. Now he is praying, and now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven, and so I am revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that I, his sole son, do this same villain send to heaven. Oh, this is hire and salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly, full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown, as flush as May. And how his audit stands, who knows, save heaven? But in our circumstance and course of thought, 'tis heavy with him. And am I then revenged, to take him in the purging of his soul, when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No. Up, sword, and know thou a more horrid occasion, when he is drunk asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasures of his bed, at gaming, swearing, or about some act that has no relish of salvation in it. Then trip him, that his heels may kick at heaven, and that his soul may be damned and black as hell, whereto it goes. That is the analysis of Shakespeare's Hamlet. I hope it was informative to you and you were able to learn something from it. Until then, I'll see you later. Bye.